Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. Make sure that my volume is as loud as it can be so you can hear me. Okay, so the video today that the live show we're doing today is around Golovkin versus Canelo 2, Joe Saunders, Sullivan, Huey Fury, and Garcia versus Robert Easter. DJ Slick is in the room. DJ says, missed you, bro. This was needed. How you been? Well, relieved, to be honest, first and foremost, because we haven't been on the channel for the last couple of weeks, or well, last week or so, because after the Crawford fight, somebody filed a copyright notice on our channel for doing live commentary. And then I had a chat in my Facebook page, and my man Hatman messaged me openly, actually messaged me on Facebook and said that I should contact the people that have decided to basically say that, say that we had a copyright infringement, which I know we didn't. So I contacted them, and I contacted them today actually, and within 15 minutes they lifted and removed they retracted it. So basically that meant that had they not retracted it, then I would still not be able to do live streams. Bit of a pain, really. They apologized because I did not do anything that was in contrary to their the YouTube rules. I did not do anything like that, but this is what happens. These are the things you have to deal with sometimes. But anyway, neither here nor there. We're back on and we're live. So a lot has been going on in the boxing world. Of course, as well, in the football world, the World Cup has begun. There's a gentleman, a Russian gentleman today by the name of Golovkin. I can't pronounce the guy's name. It sounds like Golovkin, but it's not. But he's a footballer from Russia. I think he scored a goal today. A nice goal. Anyway, on to the real stuff. Now, Golovkin versus Canelo. You've heard now that the fight is now official. It seemed the only logical fight to happen, to be honest, because talking to Abel Sanchez, he denied that Joe Saunders was even in the mix. He was talking about Murata, and he was talking about big fan bases. That's why the Deverenchenko fight never happened, because he didn't think Deverenchenko had a fan base, Abel Sanchez. And then when he talked about Charlo, well, who'd he beat? So they ended up having to go back to Canelo because there was nobody else that would create that amount of money for that fight. And why would you want to take a fight in between that was dangerous? Why would you want to fight Deverenchenko or fight a Charlo in a possibility you could get beat and then not be able to get the money afterwards against Canelo? At least if you fight Canelo and you get beat by Canelo, hey, at least you've cashed in, you got your money. But to get beat by a Charlo now, or to get beat by Joe Saunders, or to get beat by anybody else, it just isn't acceptable. And even if you got beat in the second fight, well, they can jump up a third fight. You see that? So smart moves there, smart moves. On the undercard, Sullivan is supposedly being offered a shot against the winner of Canelo or Golovkin. So for my money, though, if you're asking my opinion early in the fight, for the fight, I think Canelo's got the ability to beat Golovkin in a rematch. I think Golovkin did take a lot of punishment in the first fight. He took a hell of a lot of punches. And I think Golovkin's ability to be effective on the front foot as a puncher is only determined by the lack of footwork by a fighter. If you're on the move constantly all the time against someone like Golovkin, he's unable to land the sort of power shots that you've seen him do against lesser opponents. As Golovkin's moved up in class or against better opposition, his knockout ratio has dried up. Why? Because the guys that he's fought have been good movers. They too can have got a bit of pop as well, and they don't stand right in front of Golovkin. And even with when Golovkin fought Canelo, yeah, he ducked, he rolled, he moved. You know, he was always on the move. He was spinning Golovkin. He was constantly making Golovkin move and chase him. So, and Canelo's got a good chin and he can see the shots coming. So, you know, and Canelo's fought the who's who, you know, in the division. So for me, I just think Canelo's going to get better as a fighter. I think Canelo's doing this. Canelo's doing this and Golovkin's doing that. That's what I feel. I don't feel Golovkin's getting any better. I don't think he's progressing as a fighter. Whereas Canelo's 27 years old. He's still got time to improve and develop and be a better fighter for me. So I think Golovkin's hit his ceiling. I don't think Golovkin's going to get any better. I think Canelo's got space to improve. He's felt the power of Golovkin. He knows what it takes to beat Golovkin, which is movement. They had the idea. The only thing with Canelo now is that stamina, that he doesn't tire out in the later rounds. I think Canelo's one of these guys very similar in some ways to Chris Eubank Sr. Eubank Sr. couldn't fight 3 minutes of a round. Eubank Sr. would boop, 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 throw combinations and move away, or lots of inactivity in between the 3 minutes. He, you know, and last 30 seconds, he either jab, or put more jabs together, or put a combination together to make you think he's won the round. That's how Eubank used to fight. He never fought for 3 minutes. So when he fought Michael Watson, and Steve Collins, these were guys that put pressure on Eubank from the start and didn't allow him any space and didn't allow him to do the work. So Golovkin's got the perfect style for Canelo. So what Golovkin's going to have to do to beat Canelo is that he's going to have to press the action early and keep on top of Canelo for 12 rounds. It don't matter if he's hitting his arms, his shoulders, his legs, his back. It don't matter. Just hit him everywhere and just keep hitting him and keep moving forward and keep hitting him. He's just got to keep throwing punches. 12 rounds, keep throwing punches against Canelo. That's his hope of beating Canelo. For Canelo, he's got to slip and slide and stay to the side. Don't stand in front of Golovkin. If you do stand against Golovkin, make sure when you throw your punches, he's moving backwards. When you fight Golovkin, if you stand in front of Golovkin like this and Golovkin's coming forward at you, it's dangerous. But if you pop Golovkin, if you pop him with a jab or you pop him with a combination, what Golovkin does, he doesn't count you when he's like that. What he does, he takes back, regroups, and then comes for you. That's when you're dangerous. So you got to throw your combination at Golovkin, slip to the side. Throw your combination at Golovkin, slip to the side. Hold, tie, grab, push off, let the referee break you up, and go. That's how you got to fight Golovkin. You can't stand in the pocket of Golovkin. See, Brook had the right idea, but then he got greedy. He hit Golovkin with a good combination, but then he stayed there too long. Golovkin puts his head back, and the head get knocked back. He doesn't do anything, doesn't defend himself. All he does, head goes back, and then he comes forward. That when the head goes back and he comes forward like that, that's when you're gone. Or pop him with another jab and be on your way. Do your business and get out of there. Just do not stick around to land that second combination Golovkin, because that's where he's set to come for you. Because once his head goes back and he comes forward, his feet are now set in position again to then start unloading. That's when the big power shots come with Golovkin. Well, that's what I've noticed anyway. I could be wrong, but that's what I've noticed. But if you go back and look at the Brook fight, Brook's best work was when Golovkin was backing up. When he got hit, boop, 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 Golovkin would go back. When he got with the uppercut, he'd go back, set, and then Brook would still be there. And that's where Golovkin was able to hurt him. All right, when you want to retreat, backing up in straight lines with Golovkin, that's dangerous as well. He's got them wide hooks that he catches you with as well. The left hook and the right hand. And if you're on the tail end of that shot going back, that's where Golovkin's dangerous as well. And then walks you to ropes and lands the body shots. So you've got to work the ring with Golovkin. Work the ring. Don't stand in front of him. Do that. You take the punching power away from him. And his record has suggested now that against movers, he's not as effective. They both, Golovkin and Canelo, are similar fighters. They don't like to fight movers. They don't like to fight guys that are on the move all the time. But for me, I think Canelo, like I said, he's on the up. Golovkin's on the decline. And the Varney's fight is not really the sort of fight that tells us anything. Right, next person up. So we talked about, what's the gentleman's name? See people in the room. What going on? England Golovkin is hype job. Hype job. In your opinion, absolutely. How you doing, England? I'm good. I'm glad to be back, Bob Saunders. Stick and move, but GGG for me. I just don't think GGG is improving. I think he's reached his level. I don't think he's improving. I don't think he's improving. And that fight, you need against Varnis, against a guy who was much smaller than himself, that didn't prove anything to me. Just that he can punch against a guy who's just scared of him, intimidated by him, and he's not prepared to move too much. Varney's got, but if you look at Varney, even I think he caught a Golovkin, rocked Golovkin in the first round. If he's a roll in a second, Golovkin is not, and Varney is no big puncher, but he was able to catch Golovkin because of the speed coming up, moving up in weight. That's what I think it was. Caught Golovkin by surprise. Okay, so we're talking about Spike O'Sullivan now. Spike O'Sullivan has been offered the opportunity to fight the winner of Golovkin or Canelo. Well, Spike's got a tough job ahead of him, regardless of if it's Spike, if it's Golovkin or Canelo. But all the best to Spike. He'll be on the undercard of Golovkin, Canelo too. Billy Joe Saunders. Oh, do you know when I think of Billy Joe Saunders' career? Do you know who comes to mind? Joe Kawasaki. If you look at Joe Kawasaki's career, he had periods of inactivity. He fought guys that were just below the best in the world at the time. And then, he was meant to fight guys like Glenn Johnson. The Glenn Johnson fight never happened. Who else is he meant to fight? There's a couple of other guys that Kawasaki was meant to fight in his prime. Never fought him in his prime. And then the Jeff Lacey fight came, and that was a fight that Kawasaki wanted to pull out of, but his dad pushed him into that fight, right? And I'm seeing the similar things with his career is Billy Joe Saunders. Somehow or another, the big fights seem to elude Saunders. The big fights, the mega fights, the Canelo, the Golovkin, those fights seem to elude him. And guess what? He's got the same promoter as I think Kawasaki had at that time, which was Frank Warren. Very interesting. So is there a connection between Frank Warren, big fights, and also Kawasaki was WBO champion as well. So there might be something in that as well. But yeah, Kawasaki and Saunders, I find them very similar in both southpaws as well. Both have, well, Kawasaki threw more punches. Both have that kind of flashy hand speed and put combinations together. I think Joe was more class than Saunders, though. But they're very similar, very similar in terms of how the big fights elude them. So ultimately, I think that with Billy Joe Saunders, where people will say all this and that about him, ultimately he will get a big fight. He will be put in a big fight. He may get slung in a big fight. Ultimately, I think it's going to happen. And then and only then will people appreciate either how good Billy Joe Saunders is or how much of his career has been wasted. So those are my thoughts on that one. Andrade versus Saunders would be a good thing. I think Andrade's talent will really show unless the activity hasn't caught up with him. Kawasaki threw the most punches in boxing history, to be honest. Yeah, as I said, Kawasaki is a class act. One of my favorite fighters. I like Billy Joe, but I don't know whether you blame the promoter here, whether you blame his manager, whether you blame Billy Joe himself, or just the other side. You just don't know. What's your thoughts on Crawford versus Spence? Well, Spence is vulnerable to the left hook. Spence doesn't move his head. And Spence moves in straight lines. But he's a big welterweight that could probably make middleweight easy. Crawford is just moved into the welterweight division, and he more or less manhandled Jeff Horn. And on the subject of Jeff Horn, there are some people out there that said Jeff Horn got robbed. There's some people out there that say Jeff Horn got stopped early. If I were those people, and they want to see a rematch. Jeff Horn's people are talking about blisters on the foot. Listen, Jeff Horn will never beat Terence Crawford. Never beat Terence Crawford. He tried to walk. I'd give him credit. He tried to walk Crawford down, and he got his ass handed to him. He got hit with uppercuts coming in. I mean, that was the strategy. I said he's got to go in. He's got to close the range down. He's not got to give Crawford any space. But anytime he's coming forward, he don't know how to come forward. He couldn't double up the jab and come forward without getting cracked with something. So Crawford going Horn going forward, he's getting beat up. Horn going backwards, he's getting beat up. And it showed in the fight. How demoralizing is it that you're fighting a man that you thought you were physically bigger and stronger than, but you were able to back up? You know, and there were points in that fight where Crawford looked the stronger man in there, and Horn was the guy who was the stronger man. He had his hands down by his side and walking Horn back to the ropes. That wasn't meant to happen. That wasn't part of the script. I said, as soon as that starts happening, fight is done. And well, we saw what happened. So no. I think they just want another payday. I don't think Horn wants a rematch with Crawford. I just think his team want a rematch with Crawford, because a fight in Australia, well, that fight's not going to go to the judges. You get beat up, but they get beat up even faster this time around. So I don't want to see that. As for Spence versus Crawford, I don't know. Now I give it to Spence, but let's see how Crawford's body builds up and how he does in the welterweight division against some of the better fighters. I'd like to see Spence against some of the. I'd like to see Spence against Porter. I'd like to see Spence against Garcia. I'd like to see Spence against all the other welterweights in the world. I'd also like to see how Crawford does against a welterweight that we think could beat him, or welter we think that could give him a good fight. I'd like to see how Crawford deals with Porter. I know Porter just kind of come in straight lines, and when he gets inside, doesn't do as much work as he should. I'd like to see that. You've got Crawford against Broner. How does that fight match up stylistically? There's so many different fights. Crawford against Khan. I remember talking to Crawford about Amir Khan, and Crawford said it's an absolute insult to be compared to Amir Khan. I remember doing the interview with him. He said it's an absolute insult. He insulted me and compare me to Amir Khan. And this is before he even fought Ricky Burns for the world title. That's how confident and assured Crawford was of his own, you know, legacy and what he was going to be. So a lot of people talking in the room. Right, let's go here. Saunders is no Kawasaki. I didn't. Okay, I'm really not gonna. BWTM Saunders messed up big time. He's to blame, in my opinion. Cameron, how are we doing? Good to see you in the room. Marky Bier, Crawford, Molly Wop, Spencer. Okay. Do you think Billy regrets not taking the Murray fight and staying active? He isn't getting GG or Canelo till late 2019 earliest, almost like the Tyson Fury story, isn't it? And he's come back and him fighting somebody a real note in 2019. I don't know. BWTM Saunders, nice guy. What's he doing outside of boxing? I mean, has he got other business ventures outside of boxing? These boxers have got lives outside of boxing. He might not really. He wasn't up for fighting Murray. I don't know. You just don't know, do you? Crawford. Let's see. Saunders talks too much and don't show nothing to back it up. Okay. Bliss is as good as an excuse as David Hayes' toe. Yep. Crawford is pound for pound #1 after last weekend. Lomachenko a close #2. I was after Ward when I said Crawford was next pound for pound. I didn't even need this fight to tell me that. I don't need Jeff Horn to tell me that Crawford was pound for pound #1 for me. Just different league. Crawford v Spence 50-50, maybe. I think Fury is pound for pound. That's nice to know. Joe. Let's see what people are saying in the room. Spence still ain't fought anybody apart from Brock. Okay. He fought Bundu as well, who Keith Thurman got on the back foot and ran for 12 rounds or more or less. Porter smothers his own punches. Yes, I was going to say that. Marky, the rest of his record is shot fighters. Garcia will beat the style of Porter. Will beat the style of Porter. Okay. It's all about one time for Marky B. Well, I love him at one time, but it's once upon a time now. And when Thurman comes back, you've got to wonder, he's been out for so long. You've got to ask yourself, when Thurman does come back, why is he coming back? Does he really want, the married life may be a good life. His wife may be putting it in good and proper. And Thurman may have no interest in coming back and boxing. So we don't know why he's out. Only Garcia stands a chance. I think Crawford could be rocked easily. Holm momentarily rocked him in the 7th. Momentarily. I think Crawford rocked him from round 1. Garcia got beat by Thurman because he boxed and surprised Garcia rather than come forward. Thurman only boxes 2 ways. If Thurman can't blast you out in the first couple of rounds, Thurman gets on the back foot and fights off the back foot. And then leaps in with the surprise hooks. That's how Thurman fights. Amir Khan would lose to Crawford. Amir Khan could be a great fighter, just his glass jaw. Cameron says, he didn't mean Saunders is like Kawasaki as a fighter. He meant how careers are being guided. Thank you very much for that, Cameron. That's exactly what I was meaning. That's why I didn't bother responding to that, gentlemen. I don't want to see Porter in with anyone. I'm done watching him head down and just throw. You're good. Porter is a brawler and will get picked off by Garcia. Oh, you hope so. I don't know what fight you saw, but Crawford didn't get rocked at all. Crawford's a boy, man. I love Crawford. Thurman is finished, I think. His hunger isn't the same. Jeff Horn, 5 minutes of fame is over. He should fight Mundine, cash out and retire. Crawford is a more complete fighter than Lomachenko. We saw what happened when Lomachenko fights a dirty fighter, and we saw how Crawford deals with dirty fighters. I know he rocked him in round 1, but I said in the 7th. Thurman lost the love. Cameron Gillen, you're on a BDA podcast, right? How about double head? Joe Saunders versus Andrade. Munungia versus Smith's going to get knocked out. Forget Smith, man. I have been, yes. Thurman getting too much. Yeah, he probably is. That's what it is. Brook versus Cook, the real fight of the century. Oh, no. And what makes it worse is that it's an eliminator. The only thing it's eliminated is for Brook to get eliminated, because Brook ain't beating Charlo. Is it light middleweight? Yeah, he ain't beating Charlo. That's a light middle, in it. He ain't beating Charlo. He definitely ain't beating Hurd. So I don't know where he's going with this eliminator. It's eliminated. That's all it is. It's an eliminator to get eliminated from the light middleweight division, because he's going to get smashed to bits if he goes anywhere near Hurd. Right, forget it. I don't know. I don't even know what he campaigned a light middleweight for. He's going to get absolutely smashed to bits. But anyway, Gypsy Box says he got rocked by onslaught from Horn. Go to Specsavers. Cameron Gill, I enjoy your commentary. You seem less biased than other people on the show. That's nice to know. Thurman, don't even talk like you used to. Don't duck me, son. Used to be the cry. Well, yeah, but this is what happens. He married life and he's enjoying the life. Thanks. That's why I follow Ingram. He's the same. Thank you very much, Cameron. Crawford trainer Bomac should get some credit too. Yeah, of course he should. Absolutely. One time created Don't Duck Me. Don't duck me, son. Bob Saunders makes sense to me. It says here, Matchroom put on a shit undercard. What do we have to talk about Matchroom? What advice would you give Ben Davis in his quest to become a good trainer? Learn a trade. I think probably. Don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's not for me to say. Is it? I'm not a professional trainer. I think it's a phase for the pupils. Copy and watch right. Didn't Eddie say the budget for the undercard was mega? If you don't understand really about Mr. the promoter, he already said it on our channel that he is a BSer with a smile. So understand that. And haven't they already said that they think that the boxing fans are mugs? So once a person says something like that, you just know what's coming. So I don't know what people are expecting. You know, when somebody bold-facedly looks you in the camera and says, I'm a bullshitter with a smile, I'm a second-hand car salesman, my job is to sell fights. That's exactly what his job is. He don't care one way or another. As long as it puts bums on seats, as long as the pay-per-views sales are made, that's all they care about. They're not here to care about me and you in that sense. Stop thinking that these promoters are here to care about me and you. They don't care about me and you. They care about the casual person. They don't care for the hardcores. They care for the casuals, because the casual will line their pockets and not asking no questions. The hardcores will ask the questions and say, what the hell is this? This is not a 50-50 fight. The commentary of most commentaries for most boxing today is based around, I'm talking about, you know, the main stations are based around the casual market. Like I said, go back and listen to my video on the casual market. The casual market is now the audience that people, that the big players are interested in, the casual market, because they don't know what's going on. Thurman's still the king of until beaten. Yeah. He could be the king of inactive as well. George Joyce has a new opponent Friday, yes, I understand. Ingram, do you think B.Y. Jennings will accept the George Joyce fight in August? I don't know. I'll call B.Y. and see what he says. Those belts, nobody took them. Yeah, Evac Boring. Yeah, that Evac Boring is the new opponent, I understand. Yes. I was fortunate. Hold on a second. Just give me one moment, please. Can you get out, please? Thank you. Right now, get out. Yes. Yes.
Give me a minute.
Thank you.
Because I'm making my tea. You're welcome.
My apologies. Right. So away. Yeah, I had the pleasure. I can't believe I didn't say this. I had the pleasure yesterday. I went to London and I saw Peter Fury and Savannah Marshall. I got to the hotel before they did, and sat down and had a meal with Peter. And the reason why I'm saying this is that Savannah Marshall is fighting tomorrow night on the undercard of Joyce versus Baccarin. That's live on Dave TV. So if you didn't already know, you know now. The interviews are on BWTM Sports, so check them out. And in the evening, later on that evening, I had the pleasure of talking to Billy Nelson, the Scottish trainer out in Airdrie, with the unbeaten Martin Bakole. He's from Congo, and he's got a great story. So we've got that story uploaded for you, and also some interesting information. Bakole's been sparring with. He's currently in London sparring with Daniel Dubois. He's also sparred with Joshua and Tyson Fury. But I thought I'd let you know that there'll be information as well, and it's on the channel. So back to what I was saying. This White Parker pay-per-view may be the biggest farce in boxing for a while. Well, I understand what people are saying about. I understand. I've heard other people's comments about the Parker versus White. But the thing is this. Here's my point. Do hear me out. Dillian White has propped up other people's boxing events, other cards. So I guess in some ways he does sort of deserve it on the back of that. And let's be honest, we've already had Brooke v. Gavin, and that was pay-per-view. All right. So it's been a long time since pay-per-view has had the standard or the kite mark or the thumbs up. It's been a long, that's gone. Pay-per-view now hasn't got the same level of integrity that it did back then, because the people that are putting the pay-per-views on now haven't got the level of integrity that they had back then. It's all about a money grab, quick money grab. So that's what it is. That's all it is now. Pay-per-view is a money grab. It's a new form of money in boxing. And it's not just about the guys that put the bums on seats. But what I would like to see, actually, I would actually like to see more boxing shows or more fights being held in cinemas. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see more fights in cinemas. No, let me rephrase that. More fights being broadcasted in cinemas before we start getting people fighting in cinemas and saying blame BWTM Sports. More fights being broadcast in cinemas. So yeah, I wouldn't mind going to. Actually, I wouldn't mind going to the cinema to watch a pay-per-view event and going to the cinema. I wouldn't mind doing that. That's a way I think pay-per-view could move forward in the cinema. I could be wrong, but I'd like to see that. Thurman might be close to 190 pounds now. He's not had a fight for a long time. Has he even been in camp to get the weight off? Thurman does balloon up in weight. He does. No way I'm paying for the Parker fight. Ingram, did you see Fury post-fight interview on IFL? He looked like he was on something to me. No, unfortunately, I didn't. And I don't know. I have concerns about Tyson, and I hope and I pray we are not looking at another Riddick Bowe. I really hope and pray. I hope and pray that the time that Tyson had out of boxing hasn't screwed him up completely to the point where he's coming back to the sport just to grab money from boxing fans because of the way he was treated post Klitschko. I really hope that's not the case and it's just not a money grab. But at the moment, it looks like a money grab. It really does, just being honest. And it's all well and good jumping and raving and ranting about and praising a fighter for beating a guy they should beat, that should never have been in the ring with him in the first place. But let's see what happens when that moment comes where there's a real fight. Let's see how the team works out then. That's the only time I'm really interested. What happens to Usyk versus Gassiev? Why does it look like Usyk pulled out of the fight? Well, from what I understand, I'm not going to say who revealed it to me, and it wasn't Abel Sanchez because I need to call Abel to clarify this. Gassiev team are so fed up of Usyk that they're actually going to go another way, and Gassiev's going to fight someone else instead of Alexander Usyk. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is. LOL, laugh my head off, Ingram. Get out. Can you just get out, please? Laugh my head off. LOL, LOL. It got me done, innit? It got me done. I mean, like, every time I do a live show, I get this interruption. Like, blatant just waits until the live show starts and then decides to make a cup of tea. So get out. Has to be done. Or another journeyman. Hey, Ingram, what do you think on White or Parker? I don't know if Parker's got another gear. And I don't know. I really don't know. I only lean to Parker because probably Parker hasn't been knocked out. But I don't know. I don't know. When the bombs start flying, I don't know how much Parker's going to actually want to engage. That's the thing. When the bombs start getting chucked, if Dillian puts it on Parker early, then we're going to know whether Parker's got that extra gear. I think this will be a good fight to find out whether one of these guys is a gatekeeper to the heavyweight champion of the world, and if the other guy's a real top fight contender. That's why. It's just that we'll find out. But I think that White is improving. Will Peter Fury fast track Savannah since she is a long amateur career? I would love to see Shields versus Marshall soon. Well, as I asked in the interview, and as you know, conversations are not just, I think somewhere, somehow, in some people's minds, they think an interview goes like this. I walk through the door, Peter Fury sat there. I pick up a camera. I sit the camera in Peter's face. I say, "Hi, Peter." We do the interview. Shut the camera down. Put the camera in my bag. I say thank you, and I walk out of the building. It doesn't work like that. In fact, very rarely it works like that, unless you probably go to a press conference. That's the way it would work. But if you walk into a hotel, you get into the hotel before the other person gets there, and then they get there, and then they check in, and then you sit down, and they invite you to have a meal with them, and you've got yourself and your wife and your father, and Peter's there with Savannah, and you, Savannah, are just talking and chilling like family. It's different conversations being said around the table. But those are conversations that you'll never be privy to unless it's on the camera. That's how it goes. So, and that's through an element of trust. And I want to touch on this point again. Now, this whole thing about why did Peter split with Tyson? Why did Tyson split with Peter? I don't know. And frankly, I don't care, because that's family business. And I don't think it's cool that family outs members in public. I don't think you should air your dirty linen in public. I don't think you should. I think it should be kept behind closed doors. I don't think that's got anything to do with boxing, because Tyson's doing his thing, Hughie's doing his thing, John Fury and Tyson are doing their thing, Peter Fury and Hughie Fury and Savannah are doing their thing, and just let them do what they're doing. If anybody really wants to know what's going on between the families, what you can do one of two things. You can DM Peter Fury and ask him yourself, or if you're even more brave, you can go to the press conferences when Peter has the next press conference and just go up to his face, take a camera in his face and ask him yourself and see what kind of reaction you get. I think it's just being respectful. I've known Peter, 6-7 years now, and it's respectful. And I'll ask him questions. I will ask him tough questions. But I mean, I pushed him about the Mick Hennessy thing, and unfortunately, that did not record on the camera for whatever reason. The camera recorded for 25 minutes and just cut out. But there was a part of the interview I interviewed him and I asked him about Mick Hennessy. I said, "Why are you still with Mick Hennessy?" And he said, "Well, Mick Hennessy's he got us a world title fight." When he said, Mick Hennessy covered my back when we were in the whole situation with the UCAD, nobody else was there. It was Mick Hennessy. Morning, noon, night was just Mick Hennessy. When the shit hit the fan, Mick Hennessy was there, and everyone else ducked out. When the world title fight we tried to get with Parker, Mick Hennessy was there. Mick Hennessy has been there in the good and the bad. So why would I leave Mick Hennessy? And as he said that, we're talking about Mick Hennessy had got Hughie Fury into number 7 position. And as he said that, the telephone rang, and Mick Hennessy was talking to Peter Fury while he was eating. And he turned around and he said, "You know what? Guess what's happened? Hughie Fury is ranked 5th in the world, and we've just been talking about Mick Hennessy." So I applaud that loyalty. Loyalty. Straight talking, honest, tells you like it is. And if he says something, he means it. Not says something one day and then does something totally different the next day. Loyalty. And I think loyalty should be rewarded. And family values. You just don't air your things out in public. And I'm not going to start airing people's things out in public unless they say on camera they start talking about it. I personally am not going to do that. I can't do it. So I just wanted to clear that up. I did need to clear that up. How much should we spend for a fight in the cinema? Now, to watch a fight broadcasted, how much would you pay? I think a 10 is fine. I think £10 is good. I think £10 will be good. I think £20 will be fantastic if it includes like premier seating, 3D glasses, and food. Yeah, certain food, like you may get a free tea and coffee or biscuits or popcorn or a hot dog and popcorn comes with it. Yeah, so for £20 you get food, drink, 3D glasses, and the boxing. I think that'd be fantastic. Making it up on the way, but yeah, I think that'd be brilliant. Bo destroys body just like Tyson. There you go. Boxing is. Abel Sanchez said something about July 14th. He did, didn't he? Oh, by the way, I've got hay fever. If people are wondering why I'm rubbing my nose like this, hold it. Excuse me just for 2 seconds. Ugh. Let me get my hay fever spray. Shoot. Bless me. Before those nasty, vicious rumors start up that it's all natural as well. It's from Holland and Barrett, but it's all herbal. Okay, sorry, forgive me for this. Right, Mr. Unprofessional. Okay, Cameron Gillen says Tyson Fury will get beat if he doesn't get back with Peter Fury. In my opinion, he's a lion who needs a tamer, and Peter is his tamer. I can't agree with you there. I mean, disagree with you there. In fact, I can't disagree with you there. But Tyson's his own man. I think whoever unifies should be on the list for sure. Okay, I think based on how off it Tyson is a breach of duty care almost from Peter not to arrest team downturn in some way. They must have had hard rift. It's their business, but Tyson needs help, not Ben Davidson help either. Interesting. Bob Sanders says, not against it. Had good wins so far. Huck Golovkin Breedis, but agree with your sentiment. Okay. He has had some good wins, but it might be a little too early. But if he beats Gassiev, then for sure he deserves, because he will be undisputed. Okay, we talk about Usyk there. I know the current situation with Tyson and Peter and Mick, but I'm not saying anything. Too many haters for me to do that. I know. Tell me about it. Right, let's push this down. Okay. Okay. Perhaps Tyson isn't serious. Maybe Peter thinks forget. Maybe I'm gonna do this. Can get this zoomed up a bit more because I can't read half this stuff now. Too late at night for me. Getting an old man these days. Push this down a bit. Perhaps Tyson isn't serious. Maybe Peter thinks forget this shit, but it's seriously sad to see a big heavyweight career ruined over a couple year period. That's when there's a legendary trainer in Peter Fury. Yeah, well, see the difference. I hope and pray that Tyson doesn't revert back to the Fury that was fighting pre-Peter Fury. If you go back and look at that Tyson Fury, it was very much barroom brawl sort of stuff. And if you look at Klitschko's career, when Emmanuel Stewart left, his career and his skills are slowly eroding, because he wasn't doing the things that Stewart was teaching him to do. So it was different. So I'm concerned. And I think same thing will happen with Alexander Usyk as well, because when you've got a really experienced trainer that's been looking after you, they know they will tell you, especially when you've got a trainer now that comes in place that is what's the way to describe it? You're training them rather than them training you, because you got to ask yourself the question: the relationship between Ben and Tyson, are they friends? Is that a friend relationship? Is that a master-slave relationship? Or what sort of relationship is it? Could you imagine, just picture it for a second. This is no disrespect to Ben Davison, but could you imagine Ben Davison telling Tyson Fury, you get on that floor now and you do 100 press-ups now? Jeremy, can you imagine Ben Davison saying that? Can you imagine him saying, no, Tyson, stop mucking around? Could you imagine? Could you imagine Ben Davison? Look, there's a little example of when Tyson kissed, what's this guy's name? Safa Safiri, kissed him on the lips. Go back and look at it in slow motion and watch Ben Davison's expression. He's like, he's let it slide. I'm letting it slide. I'm letting it slide. You know, no point in time. I wasn't listening to the commentary, but you'd expect a trainer. Could you imagine what Tyson was doing in the ring there? Would that have been allowed to happen on Peter Fury's watch? That's all I'm asking. Biggie says, great interviews. Really enjoyed them much. Most for those who haven't. Okay, well, I've just uploaded another one. It's Martin Bacoli and what's his name? Billy Nelson. And they're talking about Billy Nelson reviewing the Tyson Fury fight and a little bit more about who Martin Bacoli is. Anyone going to say, bless you, Ingram? Thank you. Liking the purple polo from Burton's, by the way. Is it from Burton's? I didn't know. I didn't know. You're a funny man. But thank you anyway. I think Tyson's mental issues are too much. No trainer can help him. Tyson messed about in that comeback fight. If Pete was in his corner, not much of this would have happened. I agree. I also think Tyson believed in his own hype after Warren put his comeback as main event. Not good. No, a fight should never be main event. I like the way that he's going to be not main event, but he's going to be on the undercard of Frampton. Tyson Fury on the undercard. Tyson Fury on the undercard. The unified, the linear heavyweight champion of the world on the undercard of a featherweight. Picture that for a minute. Picture it. Tyson Fury on an undercard. I agree. This is not the era to brawl with these heavyweights. Peter teaches timing, balance, and defense. Fury would have to draw heavily on Peter for chancing those night fights, or else disaster lost. There you can see it coming. Peter Fury must cringe when he sees Ben Davison. Haha, that's the Burton's logo. I didn't even bloody know it was the Burton's logo. So shout out to Burton's, by the way. Send us a couple more. I agree. Tyson has no respect for Ben. It's the most humble boxer who wins the most. You have to be willing to listen. He boxed to orders versus Vlad. There are now no such orders. Well, I'd love to know what Asgar's got to say. He's been very supportive of Tyson, and so he would be. But be interested to see what he really thinks if asked questions. Savannah Marshall's got a fight tomorrow night. She fights on Dave against a girl. I think the girl's had 10 fights, 2 losses, I think 5 by KO. So she can punch a bit. I saw her as I was leaving the building. She looked proper fierce. She looked fierce, like proper fierce, like just like no emotion on her face, like proper. She was standing to get lift, but she just looked. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing that fight. Few quick paydays for Tyson, then a pay-per-view, then retire. Fury is the real Haymaker 2.0. Yeah, not great. Is there anything? Oh yeah, so check out the interviews on the channel. Oh, by the way, also check out my interview I did a couple of days ago. I did an interview with Harley Ben and with Daryl Williams. So check those 2 interviews out on the channel. Also, more news. Now, this is very interesting. Remember Ted Cheeseman? Remember he had that fight against Carson Jones and he fought the other day, fought well. Remember Arsenio Byfield, the guy who went to America. He beat up a West Ham kid. He could be in line for a British title fight against Cheeseman, Byfield. If I'm Cheeseman, I mean, stylistically, it's a great fight because Byfield can orthodox southpaw. I think he's tailor-made for Cheeseman, but I kind of feel Cheeseman is tailor-made for Byfield. Like they make tailor-made for one another to make a great fight. I think it's a great fight. Thoughts on Crawford, Spence spoke about earlier on. Hey, comeback opponent would mop the floor with Sergey. And next thing is, another story is, I understand that Martin Bakole, after his fight on June the 26th, they're going to be fighting in September against a guy who's going to give them a top 15 ranking. So a title fight is also for Bakole. So he's going to be fighting after this fight. He's currently on the sparring with Daniel Dubois. After this fight, he has against DL Jones. He's fighting DL Jones next. Martin Bakole, I think it's June the 25th or 26th. After that fight in September, they'll be fighting for a title that will give them a top 15 ranking. So that's going to be interesting. Are you still doing commentary or have YouTube stopped you like the Crawford Horn fight? No, I'm back. I'm back. That's why I'm able to do this live show. I wasn't able to do live shows before because of the YouTube cutout, but I'm back here now for that. When Huey's 27, they will all be finished, and I'd like to know who up and coming would be good enough to handle Huey's IQ and experience by then. You've got Martin Bacole's around. You've got Gorman that's around. You've got Dubois that'll be around. That's three guys there. Dubois, Gorman. There's a possibility that Lawrence Okoli may move up to heavyweight. Usyk may move up to heavyweight. Gassiev may move up to heavyweight. So there's some fighters there already. There's Michael Hunter that's moved up to heavyweight. Huey is 27. Will have wear and tear on him if Peter is serious about matchmaking him. Gorman won't fight Huey. Well, he shouldn't fight Huey. But having said that, Andy Lee and Billy Joe Saunders fought. So anything's possible. Huey won't be champion. You can't learn heart and fighting spirit. Kell Brook fighting another basic fighter. Hope he got a few rounds in to see how this eye folds up. It's another 2 or 3 round knockout job, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's another exhibition fight with Kell Brook knocking somebody out in a couple of rounds before he gets pushed into another elimination chamber where he gets eliminated, basically. German Dubois. There is Huey we talking about a 27-year version who's 6'6" too. I see great chance there for Huey. He's already above Parker. Peter wouldn't even mention Tyson's name and only said boxing's a tough sport in relation to him. Shame. You know, when I said, I think I did the title, Peter Fury reaction to Tyson Fury comeback fight. That was his reaction. What? I can't make him have a reaction that you want. I mean, if people are expecting Peter Fury to slag Tyson off, then the man's got too much class for that. It's not going to happen. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do that to a family member. No, not happening. Whatever's going to happen is behind closed doors. So forget that. Yeah, I heard that too. Yardy will get destroyed by Bivol. Huey will back away in every fight after the first punch lands on his face. Maybe 5 years from now. Peter and Tyson both haven't acknowledged each other. Very sad. No, I don't think it's very sad. I think actually you've got to respect both of them because they haven't openly disrespected one another in the public. When that happens, then it becomes very distasteful, and you don't want that. So I think it's very good they're not acknowledging one another. Let them do what they're doing personally. You do your thing, I do my thing. That's it. You go your pathway, I go my pathway. I tell you when it becomes interesting is if Tyson and Fury, and Huey are ranked number 1 and number 2 in the world. That's where things get interesting. That's where things get interesting. But I don't know. The way Tyson is at the moment, I think world title fights are a long, long, long way off. Personally. Is there anything else I should talk about before I go? I've talked about Dubois, and Dubois fighting Tom Little. Looking forward to that. Garcia fighting Easter. Looking forward to that. Some other news. Not about disrespect. I wouldn't want that, but it's easy to say Tyson did what he had to. I wish him luck. I understand. Hey Ingram, what do you think about the Mares Cruz fight? 2 guys throwing a lot, but just can't punch. No, I didn't see the fight, to be honest. I was commentating on Horn versus Crawford, so I didn't see that. I was going to say, what was I going to say to them? Yes, tonight was meant to be the night that we were going to make an announcement, find out who the hell Bermane Stiverne was fighting. But that hasn't happened. Instead, Stiverne, as we speak, is on his way to see the legendary Don King. So tonight or tomorrow morning, I'll know who Stiverne is fighting in his comeback fight. And then by then, I think we'll have an announcement with the man back in the ring. It's hard to carry power when your arms are matchsticks and you're 5'5". I thought Nasser Hamid was like 5'5", wasn't he? Or 5'3", 5'4". Yeah, and he punched hard, didn't he? Azuma Nelson knocked a few people out in his time. Kevin Kelly was a puncher. Junior Jones was a big puncher. Stiverne needs 2 fights this year. He needs 2 hard training camps this year. That's what I think. My personal opinion, I personally think Stiverne should go with Bashir. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Stiverne should team up with Bashir. And if I can make it happen, damn, I'll try and make it happen. Don King, legendary bad. There you go. Did you all see what Mike Tyson and Don King? Tyson gave an explanation as to why he threw the water on Don King. He said he got a flashback. He said that man did me over good. He did me over good and proper. So when he said the reason why he threw the water on him was like he was up there talking about how him and Mike were friends. But Mike said he was no friend of mine because of the way he did me over. So that's why I threw the water on him. I shouldn't have done it. It was immature, but it just all the memories started flooding back as he started talking about how me and him were friends when he did me over. That's why I threw water on him. So that's what happened with Mike Tyson, by the way. Joshua Joyce would be a classic, maybe. There are outliers like Nas, but 90% of midgets can't punch. Oh, dear me. Well, why is Stiverne so inactive, Ingram? That's a very good question. He blames Don King. He says Don King's the reason why he's not fighting, but I will again ask him. It was really disgusting to see Trout on SCB. I paid good money, $15 a month. Just can't go with elite fighters. I remember when I interviewed Trout before he fought Canelo, and he said, Canelo's no fought a guy as big as me. And then he got dethroned. Joshua Wilder will be a classic. Yeah, of course. We're waiting for that fight. But the other story I've heard is that they're going to go a different direction and that Joshua will face Povetkin next. And the reason why Joshua fights Povetkin is, I think Peter Fury quite rightly broke it down and said that Joshua will smash Povetkin to bits because he believes that Povetkin doesn't do well against tall fighters. And Wilder will fight Brazil. And then those guys will keep milking it and milking it and milking it. Instead of being them getting 30 or 40 million each, what he's basically to do, he's going to end up having, they want to make it into $100 million fight or $150 million fight. So if they keep fighting, then it makes it a bigger and bigger and bigger fight. That's all. Stavern has taken a lot of damage. That's why, lovely guy. Well, has he taken a lot of damage? He's had 2 fights against Wilder. And you know what? I think people are a bit hard on Stavern because if Deontay Wilder had been beaten, got beaten by 3 or 4 unknown guys, I would have got it. But Deontay Wilder just smashed the most dangerous heavyweight in the division. He's unbeaten. So I think Stavern and his defeat to Deontay Wilder, well, he got stretched by Deontay Wilder, but who doesn't get stretched by Deontay Wilder? Stavern was that guy who didn't get stretched by Deontay Wilder, but he ended up getting stretched by Deontay Wilder. So I think all this fuss about him is, I don't know. Austrian Trout must be the only fighter who's had 3 world title fights in a row without a win. Possibly. I was about to say Matthew Macklin, but where would Wilder and AJ be ranked if they were 147 pounds with their current skill set? Crawford, Spence would just be so much better. These big, stiff idiots are garbage. I think Wilder would still be a very dangerous cap. Wilder would be a Thomas Hearns. Wilder would kind of like be a Thomas Hearns. That's the closest guy I could bring to you, because Wilder has that sort of one-punch knockout power. Hearns never had a great chin. Hearns had a great jab. That's what made Hearns great. The jab, the height, and the big right hand, right? So Wilder would be the Thomas Hearns of the welterweight division. If you put him down, he'd be in a welterweight division. And what height would Wilder be? Who would he? 6'2", 6'3"? Be a beanpole. So he'd be. I think Wilder would be like a Thomas Hearns. As for Joshua, there's a lot of different situation with Joshua, because Joshua's not a one-punch knockout artist. He's more a guy who hits you with a flurry of punches, and then the referee comes in and stops the fight. I don't know. I think Wilder would be danger in any weight division. All this fuss for 33 minutes. If Wilder loses, then what? It's in the UK. You know, Big Baby is hard, man. Okay. I live in Florida, and I was telling this. Hold on. Where is it? Let me get that comment again. I live in Florida, and I was telling this to my friends, and I get bashed. Oh. Sorry, but Stavern gets no credit for losing twice to Wilder. That first defeat will always be questioned. Will be always questioned by me because of how it happened and the circumstances behind closed doors. I rate Stavern highly, durable. To take him 12, great guy. To what I mean is the guy is a fighter. Don't deserve no criticism. Martin Murray and Paul Smith deserve another world title shot. Oh dear. It's the one punch that Wilder and Hay have that will always make them more entertaining than clubbing Joshua and Foreman's. Wilder's great to watch. A big right hand merch at 147 would be cannon fodder at 147. His skills are non-existent. He's Tommy Hearns. If Hearns lost all his ability and didn't train for fights and looked for the KO, well, I disagree with you there. And I disagree strongly with you there. Because Ortiz was one of Cuba's finest. So for you to be one of Cuba's finest, then you've got to understand that he had some element of boxing ability. And Wilder's boxing ability is what got him a bronze medal. No matter, and you could say what you want about Anthony Joshua. Whatever country you put Deontay Wilder in, he would have still been a bronze medalist. If you took Joshua out of London and you fought him in America, or you fought him in Russia, or anywhere else in the world, he might not even got past the first round. And you want to talk to me about boxing ability? Come on, get out of here, man. Hatman said Hay was naturally 13 stone. Imagine him at 175. Imagine. I rate Wilds or North X style. The casuals just don't understand that it's more than just textbook boxing that wins fights. I agree. And textbook style boxing, Mayweather, they don't appreciate. So half these people talk out the side of the mouth. Mouth-watering clash. Is he at the end of the road? Wilder is good and bad to watch at the same time. He's terrible until he lands a KO punch. That is what Wilder's about. Just accept the man for what he is. Stewart made Hearns just like he made Klitschko, got him clinching at the end of his shots. Stewart and Wilder would be a great, cool combo. They would. They absolutely would. Right. Does anybody else have anything else to talk about before I disappear for the night? Like I said, check out the interviews we've got on the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Check out our notification videos. If you don't know how to subscribe already, well, you don't know how to, you must know how to subscribe, but the notification button, make sure you hit the notification bell. If you don't know about the notification bell, go back and look at our video we've got there as our trailer video at the moment about how to hit the notification bell. So that may help as well. Adam Smith said could have been a better fight for Tyson than Sefer Fury. David Price and Audie Harrison won medals. They couldn't box eggs. Audie Harrison won the gold medal and a terrific performance at the Olympic. So I think Audie Harrison did well. I know the truth about Harrison because my kind of like my cousin actually managed Audley. Hazel, Bruno, Gilbert managed Audley until then she stepped away from Audley and Audley lost his next fight. So she got him at 20-0 or 19-0 unbeaten, and then she left him. Audley was cutting corners. That's the truth about Audley Harrison. Let's always pull out on Frank's shocking promotions. To talk about that, I talked about Saunders. Is it Frank Warren himself? Is it Frank Warren per se? Or is it the people around Frank Warren? That's the question to ask yourself. Is it Frank Warren or the people around him? Frank just needs help. I don't know. Josh Taylor, Postal thoughts. Well, I don't rate Postal. I think Postal's very much, he's just that. He's one-dimensional. So that's why I think they've got the Josh Taylor fight. I don't see Postal being that great a fighter. But then, having said that, Crawford did a number on, Crawford did a number on him because, was it Crawford that beat Postal? I'm sure was it Crawford? It was Crawford that beat Postal, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm sure it was Crawford that beat Postal because he was a bit all in straight lines, really, wasn't it? Wilder has accepted the fight. Why hasn't Joshua accepted yet? Because Joshua thinks he can make another big money fight against Povetkin to make more money. And it's not about Joshua or Wilder. I think it's to do with the middlemen. David Price could KO Fury right now. He might do. Why do Frank shows always have fighting in the crowd? Security. The kind of fighters he's got on his show. I don't know. Josh Warrington has a certain crowd. I don't know. Yeah, Crawford unified against Costle. Yeah. So, yeah, Postle's the guy who stood up like and did that for all night long, like a video game. Because the boxing is normally shite. Oh, my God. Yeah, well, when the boxing is better outside the ring than it is in the ring, you've got a problem. Oh, okay, they're predicting the golden egg. It seems like Wilder wants it more. Well, yeah. I think Wilder and Joshua, I don't think nobody's ducking nobody. I think Wilder wants to fight Joshua. I think Joshua wants to fight Wilder, but there's too many other people in the bed. Okay? So Joshua can't say, I'm going to fight Wilder, and Wilder can't say, I'm going to fight Joshua. They've got to say, I want to fight Wilder. And then I guess the chain says, hold on, if you fight Wilder and you lose to Wilder, then we're going to lose all this money. And then you have to rebuild. You know, it's going to take you time to rebuild. We don't want that. We'll end up losing our jobs. So they don't want that. Nobody wants that. They want that big money on the big money rolling in. So someone's always trying to put another bullet in Warren. LOL. I know. I think Warrington will milk his belt. His dad is his manager, and he seems the greedy type. Warrington may end up being like the next Ricky Hatton. Or I think that's what Frank's going to try and do with him. I think Warren's going to try and do the same thing he did with Ricky Hatton with Warrington. I think he's going to try to do the same shit he did with Kawasaki to Saunders. I can see it. Paul still fights like he's made of cement. That's right. I think Josh Warrington will do well. I don't Josh Warrington. What's the guy's name? Josh Taylor will do well against him. Both fighters want it, but Finkel and Hearn not necessarily. There you go. Because they know. Hearn and Finkel both know that's money coming in their pocket. And they know that that affects certain things. So, and Wilder's a wild man. They can't control Wilder. They can't tell Wilder come over and fall over. They know Wilder's for real. Wilder's a real dog. So, Postel is 140 pounds, yet fights like he's declined value. I like Josh Taylor. I like what they're doing with Josh Taylor. They're taking their time with Josh Taylor. They're building up nicely. Certain fights. On the subject, let's talk about Anthony Yard before I finish. Again, I don't think boxing fans have got a clue. I think they're out to lunch. I think they really are out to lunch, some boxing fans, because have you not learnt your lesson? Luke Watkin was another example of another guy who didn't have much of an amateur career coming up against a seasoned amateur champion who went to the Olympics, Lawrence Okolie. Not happening. You can't fight. You're leaving a big gap like that against an Olympic champion or a guy who's fought Olympics. You can't fight like that and have a big gap waiting for a right hand to come right down, straight down and pipe at you against a guy who's much taller than you, got longer arms than you, better boxing ability than you, and you're going to try and say you're going to beat them? Come on, man. Not happening. Yard hasn't fought a puncher. Dodgy chin. Might be. I did remember when I asked Tunde Ajayi the question about Yard and his chin. He says, I've seen it and he's taken it. So we'll soon find out. Any plans to interview Hearn again? Coogan is so far up Hearn's ass, he won't ask hard questions. No, not particularly. No, unless by some, not unless there's some way somehow that things change. I don't think so. Not me personally. No. I personally probably won't interview him. No, but who knows? Somebody in the future may go and interview him, but I can't see myself doing it, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, just to let everybody know as well, July the 15th should be the day that we launch the online channel. So that should be fun. It's also the day of my birthday, so that should be great fun. Hearn always dodges hard questions. Well, there you go. It is what it is. But I look forward to getting Frank on the old buzzer again. I look forward to talking to Frank. I like Frank. Well, it's like Frank Warren. I think I'm looking forward to talk to him. So at some point, two people I really want to talk to. I really, really want to talk to in boxing. Frank Warren and Mick Hennessy. Damn, the whole online channel has been in the works for a while now, bro. Yeah, man. It's been a while, for 4 years. But now we almost there, bro. We're almost there. Almost there. It's not been simple, but you know, built the viewership that we wanted. And we've had other components put together. So we're coming to the end of a lot of things. So it's great. And it's been a long, hard road. But, you know, moving from Ireland to England, from the journey started from the Caribbean. We had the online channel. Then from the Caribbean, it got to England, then got to Ireland. Spent 3 years in Ireland. Now we're back in the UK, which makes things a lot easier. So, yeah. It's a shame the likes of Phelps can get to every event and ask us shit questions, but a guy like you doesn't go to big shows. things are going to change. Things are going to change. I'm going to give you a different dimension. That's what I think. I think it's all about being a leader. We were the first to ever do a Google Hangout, and we'll be the first within the boxing community to do what we're doing. But it won't just be the boxing community, which is beautiful. That's one of the things I'm really happy about, trying to build an online station. It's not just going to be about boxing, but boxing will benefit from it, I think. So yeah, it's good. We're looking forward to it. Got some great people coming on board. Shout out to Stuart Howe. Massive shout out to Stuart Howe. Shout out to Harley Ben. Shout out to Isaac Dogba. Shout out to Darryl Williams. Shout out to Hugh Fury. Shout out to Peter Fury. Shout out to Melissa from Melt PR. Yes. Thank you. Thank you to all the people that give us the opportunities, and massive apologies to my man Crossing America, Spence's trainer, Derek James. I'm so sorry, but you got to get yourself on WhatsApp. There's ain't good me having to call via Skype. The days of Skype must be over now, man. But yeah, listen, IFL, behind the glove, all these people, you have to respect what they do, right? I know you all want to say that they don't do this or they don't do that or they don't, but they still do a service. They do a hell of a job. IFL, they do a hell of a job behind the glove. They do really good work. Okay, it is. I'm sure if they had their way, they may want to ask questions themselves. But what do you do if you're in a position that's good? Why do you want to affect it because of a few other people out there? So I don't know. Well, I do know that if I was in a similar position to that, how would I be? Well, I wouldn't get myself in a position like that. So, they do great work. They do fantastic work. So shout out to them for what they do. That's it, really. Are you going to get able on that GGG, that GGG Canelo's arm? That's a good question, actually. What time is it? Midnight? What time is it in 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, maybe. If I get through, I'll be surprised at this time. Oh, she's checking his phone. Who knows? We might get Abel. He's on the phone at the moment. Okay, there you go. Evening BDSM. Where the hell is BDSM come from? It's BS. It's BWTM. Oh dear. Better late than never. Now you can't leave for 1 hour. Smiles. It says reality versus voice. Sounds like something DJ Sick would say. Are you still doing the football manager stream? As you said that, I thought I would mention this point about the football manager stream. Abel just read the message. So he's online. Let me see now. BDSM. Oh, there we go. We've got to throw them. The Pixar was surprised. Maybe we'll pick up now. He's probably in the gym training. Probably in the gym training. Right. Yeah, what I was thinking of doing is when England play their game against Tunisia, I was thinking of doing a live stream of, or maybe just before or just after, of England doing me being England manager and doing a live stream of that. I think I might do that on the sports channel just for a bit of fun. Is GGG legacy tarnished now because of him in the beginning wanting all the belts to unify, chasing history? Now it seems just about the money. Well, he's coming to the end of his career. Let's be honest. He's not been a massive pay-per-view star, has he? As Mayweather said, GGG will never be a pay-per-view star. Well, when you talk about Canelo's figures and Mayweather's figures, then maybe not. BDSM. I'm sure that's purpose anyway. Abel saw that Charlo boy looming and told Loeffler sign a damn contract. They had the Saunders fight ready for 25th of August in La Forum. That's not true. That's a rumor. That's not true. Because we had Sanchez on the channel and Sanchez said himself there was no contract whatsoever. Listen. On the 6th of June, I spoke to Abel Sanchez, and he said to me there was absolutely no route, there was no contract between Golovkin and Saunders. That was June the 6th. This is June 15th. It was absolutely lies. So that stuff about Saunders and it wasn't true. Who will win the World Cup? I don't know. I think whoever wins the World Cup will be an underdog this season, this year. It would be funny to see an African nation win the World Cup. And the only reason why I say that is because, not because I'm black, but I just see how certain things are kind of lined up. So, like the year the West Indies won the World Cup, I could see that was coming. So it'll be interesting to see whether that happens, whether it will be which part of the world the World Cup will be in, will end up being. It'll be interesting. Can Brook beat Charlo unheard? No, straight up no, and he can't beat Spence at any weight. Yeah, Golovkin won't be undisputed at this point. His dreams are shattered. Indeed, that's what I saw from Box to See. My bad. I've seen a lot of things there. Spain gonna win, and they might do. Frank Warren, Pat June. So Box Nation subs kept subscription. Okay, underdog. You mean England? I don't know. I think this England team are going to do well. I actually think they'll do well. I've got a lot to say about Gareth Southgate, but I think this England team will do well. Better than people expect. Saudi Arabia will win it. You naughty boy, Cameron. Right. I'm going to come to the end of this show now. Thank you all so much for watching. Crawford versus Brook. I've mentioned that. I've already talked about it. Brook versus Crawford at 147. You want Brook to get beat up bad, right? Really? Your boy Brook can only fight one way. He can't change up his style. He can only fight one way. And Crawford will work that body, work their head. He'll change from southpaw to orthodox. No, man. Don't. No. Stop. Right, I'm out of here. Don't forget to watch the rest of the videos. I believe right now I'm about to upload. Yep, I've just uploaded now. If you look on the channel, Martin Bacole and Billy Nelson reviews Tyson Fury comeback fights. Check that video out. That's out on the channel now. And I will be uploading a few more videos tonight on the channel as well. I might even, I'm tempted, I might even upload a video with myself on the pads working with, I was actually holding the pads working with, remember the guy, remember when Mayweather Senior was in the gym and what's the guy's name? Charlie Zelenoff was in the ring and Zelenoff tried to low blow Mayweather Senior, and then that guy who jumped in and started punching on Zelenoff, that guy, Rhodes, it was me and him working out. He's a very good, tasty looking lightweight, between lightweight and welterweight, very tasty fighter. So I might just upload that video. Me? No, I'm not prepared for a fight. Forget Ortiz versus Fury. That fight ain't going to happen. Forget it. Stop that. It's not happening. Fury told you in an interview I did with him, he's not fighting Ortiz. Fury's looking to make as much money as possible. Ortiz is definitely not going to happen. Hi, Unique Gamers. Yeah, that guy. So might upload that video. So I may upload that video as well. So I'm still thinking about it because it's on the hard drive. It's been there for months and I haven't uploaded it. So I might upload it, especially when I think he might make a comeback as well. So, all right, I'm out of here now. Thank you all for watching. And I'm out. Have a good night. Take care.